Episode 4, Blast from the Past. As the people were discussing about the past incidents and how they met Alex, Rose was wondering to herself,
how could I be so blind all these years? I treated Alex like he was a nobody, and yet he has been one of the richest men around me, both with his work and behavior as well as in terms of money. If only I wasn't so arrogant, and for once I treated Alex like what I feel for him now. I would have been here in place of Debbie, but that is at the past now. I wonder who else from here had a crush on Alex like I did. I'm sure Kelly still loves him. She was the one whom I met on Ramsey Lake, and she surely loved him. Or maybe she still does. Oh, Alex, what have you done?
As she was wondering this, the next person to speak about past incident was Kelly. She started,
I first saw Alex in the streets of New York. He saved me by knocking Henry, a guy who was always annoying me, to marry him. Although I already said I had no feelings for him, he still chased me. It was until one night when Alex drove him and he fell on the sidewalk and had to be in hospital. He left me and I was free from him. That day Alex saved me even without knowing that he was helping me. After that incident I kept searching for Alex. I found him one afternoon talking with the Ferrari company. My friend, Sharon Williams, who was mocking Alex because he dressed like a poor guy, could buy a Ferrari, let alone ask them to deliver within 10 days for an extra $100K. But little did she know how rich Alex was, and he never boasted how rich he was. Even when he was the richest boy in the Princeton University, I confessed my love, despite knowing he was poor, because I didn't know he was rich back then. But he rejected and said he always loved Debbie. Debbie, you were his only love, and he never stopped loving you.
Debbie again felt her heart sink, and as she felt weak, she held Lindsay's hand tight. Everyone in the room, even Alex's mother Flora, felt so proud and humbled by Alex's love for Debbie. Kelly again started,
You Sue, Alex not only helped me then, he also saved me from a man who wanted to molest me. I was following Alex wanting to know him and impress him, but during that period a man wanted to take me forcefully. I shouted and Alex came to rescue. He beat that man and saved me, not because he loved me but because he was a noble person. He helped me in the name of humanity. Not many people will do such things for a stranger. I know I was in love with Alex, and maybe I will be forever, but I also don't want you to feel anything about our friendship.
As she spoke, she looked at Debbie, hoping she might feel uncomfortable and jealous. But Debbie was one of a kind, and she already answered back,
It's okay. I trust in Alex and I'm happy that Alex is loved by so many people, not for his money, but for his nature.
Debbie said with a firm smile on her face.
You don't need to feel shy or guilty. We never met before, and it was in the past, so I'm no more worried about that. And thanks to you for opening up to me. Now I can be more confident that you care and want best for Alex. You are a good person, Kelly, and I'm happy to meet and know you. And as for friendship, you're always welcome to be friends with me. And Alex, we will love to be friends with such a confident and honest person.
Debbie's answer made Kelly happy, and now she knew that why Alex loved Debbie this much. She was in fact the perfect person one could have. Kelly replied,
Thank you so much for understanding me and giving me an opportunity to be friends with you and Alex. I know nobody is perfect, but Debbie, I believe you're perfect for Alex, and I'm happy for you both. I also want to share that Alex came looking for you in Washington, D.C. Like Nellie said, he wanted to meet you, and he was so happy knowing that you were in D.C. Alex is also a great person, and you must never hurt him, Debbie. He has gone through enough, because he always felt guilty when he lost you. I know you may know it, but I've seen him. During that time, he was restless and he always wanted to find you. He even once thought I were you, and shouted, Debbie, don't jump. Maybe it was an incident or memory of you and him, but he thought I were you. I was waiting in Ramsey Lake in search of Alex at that time, and he thought me as you and pulled me. He missed you so much, and then only I understood how much intense his love is for you. This was my story of Alex and how I feel about Alex.
After listening to this, everyone again thought how humble and loyal Alex was. In this day and age, everyone is always finding ways to cheat or get involved with another person, even after having a wife. And here is Alex, who rejected other girls just because he was in love with Debbie. As Kelly ended her story, Debbie now felt a bit relief, knowing that all these people care so much about Alex and they were sharing their memories with her to appreciate how much Alex meant to them. Selin and Celeste both whispered to each other as they saw a glimpse of smile on Debbie's face.
I think Debbie is recovering, and I can see she is happy,
said Celeste.
You're right. I can see her smile and she is genuinely happy for once, after all these days,
replied Selin. As the discussion of Alex was going on, in one of the other rooms, there was Sawyer in the security room. The man from Demon Sect who was in charge of the security room said to Sawyer, Sir, I think during these days, there was a person who was behaving a bit odd last Friday, and unlike other people, he never talked with any other person in the room. I believe he was here and have watched Alex and went. Sawyer was in shock knowing that, despite all these guards, how could it happen? The security was very tight and nobody entered without giving a brief introduction of themselves. And how did they know Alex from? He asked the in-charge person. Can we have a zoom onto that person? I want to look at his face and ask Marianne if she has any idea who he was, and did he leave any information regarding his relationship or meeting with Alex. The security in charge replied, Sir, unfortunately I'm not aware of this technology and I was here just to monitor any odd behavior of any person who visited Alex during these days. Also, I was making list of all the people who have visited earlier and keeping information regarding that, and I have seen no odd behavior of any other person than this one. The man wore a disguised face which wasn't visible for a normal human eye, but both Sawyer and the man in charge had a keen eyesight and they noticed it immediately that the person wore a disguise. The person had a disguised face with a hat and long coat which was clearly to hide his face as much as possible from the camera. He was tall and had lean body type. Okay, we need somebody who have any idea about security camera and how it functions. Anyone who have any idea about functioning these cameras will do. I need an enlarged image of this person by today, ordered Sawyer. Yes, sir. I'll ask some of the other guards here if they have any knowledge about functioning of CCTV and how to use these. If nobody here is aware of the uses, then we'll have to ask someone who is a security person from outside, replied the in-charge, and he went to ask about it. Sawyer was still looking at the paused image and trying to figure out who was that person, and more than that he was shocked that he missed this person on Friday. On the other room, people were still sharing their incidents about Alex. Marianne was next and she started.
Hello everyone, I'm Marianne Robinson. The day I met Alex was the day he saved me. I was at an amusement park when suddenly I felt sick. I was suffering from a symptom known as acute myocardial ischemia, as well as having hard time breathing. Since I have asthma, a doctor named Troy Wilkinson came to help me, but despite Alex's warning about my asthma, he gave me aspirin, which only made my condition worse, since the aspirin caused severe wheezing, labored breathing, chest pain, and loss of consciousness. I was in the verge of dying, and I still remember how hard it was to breathe.
As she was telling this, she remembered the horror of that day and how she was few minutes away from her death. She felt her body shiver and got goosebumps. Remembering that incident, she continued.
It was Alex who used his inner power to save me, and I'm forever grateful to him. Sometimes I wonder, why is Alex so humble despite having so much power? He is one of a kind. In today's world, where everyone brags about money and use their power for personal gain, Alex is one who never boasts about how rich he is, neither he shows off about his power where there is unnecessary.
All the people then felt that Alex was in fact a role model for today's generation. In the corner of the room there was Alex's mother, who was already proud of her son before. But now she felt that she was really blessed to have Alex as her son. She thought,
I knew Alex would never let me down, and I'm so happy I've chosen to do this, despite knowing the consequences of the family rules and regulations. I hope Father understands this, that Alex is our pride, and he will be a great Ambrose in coming days. I hope he lift the rules and accept his grandson, and see how much people loves Alex.
After Marianne, Sophie spoke.
Well, me and Alex didn't have a great history. At our first meeting, I'm Sophie Albrook, daughter of Dr. Isaiah Albrook. Our first meeting wasn't a pleasant one to remember, as I was treating one of the patients from the Lambert family and I was in charge to treat Kiara Lambert, daughter of Hal Lambert.
She continued.
Back then I was just an arrogant doctor who had no idea about Alex and his background. Mrs. Lambert's daughter Kiara was facing serious hematoma on her brain which led to ischemia, and we did whatever we could to stop it. But we weren't having any success. She was poisoned and was instantly unconscious. She fell into a coma and stopped her brain function. It was at that time Mrs. Lambert had someone sent to look at this situation. Who was Alex? I doubted him for having no medical background and no knowledge of the case we were treating. But to my surprise, he just took a glance at the MRI scans on the screen and started giving solutions. I, alongside with many of other doctors, were amazed by his able to grasp information. And that too, just looking at the MRI scans. I didn't know how he did it, but to all our surprises, he just gave a crushed pill, and the patient was showing sign of consciousness. This was unheard of before, but we all witnessed it with our own eyes, and we also got the results. I was still suspicious about the fact that just a small pill could wake someone up who was unconscious for so many days. It was only later I knew that he was practicing some old techniques of medicine which was not available for our modern science. After that incident, I started to believe in Alex, and I did everything to learn from him. He did teach me the harmony technique, but even then I couldn't master it. I've learnt so much from Alex in such small time that I could have never learned from anywhere else. So, this was my small story about Alex.
As she finished it, she started looking at the vital signs and reports of Alex on her tablet. On the other hand, the in-charge person was now outside the room, discussing about the CCTV issue. The man asked, "Do any of you know how to zoom a still image on CCTV?" One of them replied, "We don't know how to use CCTV and zoom a still image." Other one replied, "I think we have a visitor here who might have some idea about CCTV because he was wearing some kind of security dress. Okay, let's ask him if he knows anything about CCTV and if he can zoom an image," said the in-charge person. The person knocked at the door and entered. Everyone was startled for a while as they were listening to the stories that was shared. He approached near Don and asked, "Hello sir, I've been here in charge of the security room and CCTVs, but I've very little knowledge of CCTV and its full functioning. I don't want to be rude and out of respect. I wanted to ask you, are you by any means a security guard? And if yes, then, are you aware of any CCTVs and how they work? I was told by other guards that you might work as a security, so I came to ask you." The in-charge was a bit frightened because he didn't want to embarrass himself. So, there was a slight hint of respect when he asked these questions to Don. "Yes, I am. And yes, I have some knowledge of CCTVs." Don happily replied, "You don't have to be shy to ask this, because I'm clearly on my working dress, and I don't mind my job." This sentence made the in-charge person feel a bit sigh of relief as he didn't embarrass himself. "Sir, we will be needing your expertise on our security room if you don't mind. There has been a small problem, and we are unable to access some valuable data because of it," said the in-charge person. "Sure, I would love to help," replied Don. "Daisy, you stay here, I'll be in a minute. I hope you share our story to everyone, and also tell them everything about Alex."
It's okay, Don. I'll tell them. You help them at the security.
Replied Daisy. After this, Don smiled at all the person and hinted that his service was needed in the security room. All of them smiled back, and then Don and the in-charge person left the room, heading towards the security room. The episode ends where everyone was still sharing their stories and bonding with the people in the room.